Thank you. I am Çetin Tüker from BAU. Let's say every year new technology platforms, hardware platforms are introduced. Let's say starting with personal computers, mobile equipment, tablets. Now VR is getting popular, and I think in future we will face with extended reality products. We will wear them like glasses, and new things will happen. Okay, so software designers, producers, and game producers are trying to move their products from the native platform. For example, if that product is designed for PC, they try to move it to mobile platforms, to new platforms. From PC to mobile, mobile to tablet, tablet to VR, VR to extended reality. The question is, technically these products can work in new hardware platforms, but it can work, but is it possible for everyone, for users, to use that product in that particular new hardware platform? So we are trying to understand the theoretical framework of how, if any, interface workflow, ergonomics and user interface changes when a software migrates from its native platform to a new hardware platform. Let's say in detail, we are designing or we designed a software for certain functionality with a certain interface and with a certain workflow. This means a user interface and a user experience that fits very well in PC platform, personal computers. And we try to move it, the same software or game, to a mobile platform, which has a different functionality, a different use case, and a different user experience. It is also true for VR and XR platforms. There is a previous work from Fang, Cheng, and Huang, 2016. They took Monopoly and Jenga games, which are already exist in physical platforms as a board game. That's their native platforms. But these games also still exist as desktop computer games and tablet computer games. So they compared the gamer satisfaction of these three versions of games in three design levels, which are visual, behavioral, and reflective levels. As introduced by Don Norman in 2005 in his book Emotional Design, and they found that the native platform, physical platform, is significantly better than, more satisfactory than the other migrated platforms. This means simply moving a task or a software or a game to a new platform does not mean it will be better. So we start with our case studies to examine how user experience, interface, functionality, workflow, and maybe game mechanics can change. And we tried two groups of softwares. One group is video games, the other group is design software. Video games are Tetris and GTA, Grand Theft Auto. And design software are SketchUp, Formit, and VR Sketch. Probably, I think more a lot of designers know SketchUp, I hope. We architects mostly use SketchUp because it's very easy to learn. We can create three-dimensional building models. In Tetris case, it starts with, in 1984 with Electronica 60 machine, which has no graphical capabilities. So they designed the tiles by using square brackets instead of color squares like here. But just after that, they rapidly moved to personal computers, which has color capabilities. So game mechanics slightly changed because this has color. They use color for different points, for giving different points to players. And that version of Tetris is for right-hand use. So you play it by using the arrow keys on the right side of the keyboard. Then it became very popular, and a lot of Tetris machines introduced. This time it is black and white, reverse and back, black and white, and for left-hand use you have to use with your finger to play it. And this is, although this is a Tetris game, mechanics are same, but experience is very different. We are continuing to mobile era. Some designers tried to migrate the Tetris game to a mobile interface, but as telephones don't have buttons, physical buttons on their screen, they put imitations of buttons here, as they are imitating these machines. But this is still not the original Tetris. And what happens? It is not very pleasant to play Tetris with this kind of imitated buttons. If you are looking at the screen, you can press on a wrong place because you cannot feel it. Then Electronic Arts introduced a new designed version of Tetris, which has no buttons. There are no buttons on this version. You can click or you can press anywhere on the screen to, for example, make them fall down, and you can use, let's do it like this. You can swipe left, right, and down to carry tiles. So you can play it without looking to buttons. So you can click, you can press anywhere on the screen. So this is something else. This is still Tetris, but feeling is something else. It is now it fits to the capabilities of the hardware environment. Okay. Now we are seeing new examples of Tetris developed in VR systems. For example, in this example, they are using a HTC Vive system, which you control with two sticks, like this kind of sticks, but two of them in your hand. This is a controller stick. So when they try to put the same Tetris in this kind of 3D environment, it is not working. So they change all controls, but now it is not the Tetris game. It is like some kind of brick, some kind of another brick game, but it is not Tetris. The mechanics are very different. So some new designers decided to change everything. One of them tried this kind of a three-dimensional Tetris, and the other changed a lot of game mechanics, and instead they used the bricks and matching mechanics of Tetris, and they re-adapted it for the three-dimensional and more dynamic feeling of VR environment. Okay, this was for the Tetris game. And coming to GTA, GTA is a third-person perspective game, like this. This is our main character, but camera is behind of the main character, and it's a personal computer game. So we mostly play it with a large screen, with keyboard, WASD for moving, and mouse for looking around. But when Rockstar ported this game to mobile, a lot of things changed. When you try to move it, you cannot see the screen itself because your hands are blocking the screen. So what happens? Some producers produce this kind of plastic add-ons that you can fit in two sides of your mobile phone, and this now it converts your mobile phone to some kind of a console device. Coming to SketchUp and SketchUp VR or VR Sketch, these two products are from the company Trimble. SketchUp is a very SketchUp is very easy modeling software, but it is for this kind of flat screen. On the other hand, VR Sketch is a three-dimensional software. You have to click on virtual objects like buttons in the air with the VR stick, and while modeling something, those buttons can collide with the object you are modeling with. So you have to move the menu, click it, then turn and continue modeling. So it is not very easy. Okay, I'm keeping these out. And one interesting thing, while modeling with VR, we see this kind of pose. One in my hand menu, in my other hand I'm trying to send rays through buttons to click on them, and it looks like I'm trying to throw arrows. And it is not very easy because for 15 minutes, this is my last slide, for 15 minutes it is okay, you can use it. But as designers, we work hours and hours while making models. For example, 10 hours of this kind of work, I think our shoulders will be ill. Okay, thank you. This was my presentation.